Hello and welcome to Press Play, the show that helps you decide if a game is press play worthy or if you should eject it and move on. I'm your host Brian Clevenger, so let's get to it. This week on Press Play, we're heading back to Mira with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Giant mechs, alien biomes, and massive remaster. Then it's off to 1937 for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, his first video game in over a decade. We're slowing things down in chill mode with a few cozy picks, perfect for unwinding. Plus game news, upcoming releases, and a bargain bin full of deals worth digging into. So grab your controller, settle in, and let's press play. This week we're taking a look at a game that's been given a second life on modern hardware. And for a lot of players, it might actually be their first time seeing what the hype was all about. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition brings one of the Wii U's most ambitious RPGs to Nintendo Switch. It's a massive open-world sci-fi adventure with deep systems, real-time combat, and yes, giant customizable mechs. With updated visuals and smoother experience and quality of life upgrades, the Definitive Edition gives the cult classic a chance to shine all over again. Whether you're returning to Mira on exploring it for the first time, there's a lot to unpack, so let's jump in. Developed by Ubisoft, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition is the long-awaited return of a cult classic. Originally released on the Wii U back in December 2015, the game has been remastered for the Nintendo Switch, launched on March 20th, with updated visuals and gameplay improvement. Set on the alien planet Mira, Xenoblade X drops players into a massive open world spread across 5 distinct continents, each with its own biome, weather patterns, and massive creatures roaming the land. As you explore, you'll activate data probes, fight monsters, and uncover the planet's many secrets. Eventually, you'll unlock scales, giant transformable mechs that take traversal to the next level. Once you're in a scale, the world opens up even more, giving you access to the areas that were previously out of reach and turning exploration into one of the game's biggest joys. Combat is real-time with MMO-style cooldowns and a wide array of skills and class options. It can feel a little overwhelming at first, there's a lot being thrown at you, but the on-screen controls help smooth the learning curve. You can freely swap between ranged and melee attacks, and your skills range from damage dealing moves to healing, aggro control, and buffs. As you level up, you can upgrade and customize your abilities and your squad, switching out teammates with other Blade agents that complement different playstyles. The story kicks off in the year 2054 when Earth is destroyed and humanity escapes aboard massive interstellar arcs. You play as a survivor from the White Whale, a colony ship that crash-landed on Mira after a surprise attack. Your character is rescued by Elma, a key member of the Blade organization, and brought to New Los Angeles, humanity's new home. Early on, you meet Lynn, a 13-year-old engineering prodigy, and Doug, a seasoned scout pilot. Lynn becomes your guide, and you tour in LA's 4 districts: industrial, commercial, residential, and administrative. Soon after, you're tasked with locating missing Blade members. That search leads you to your first encounter with the Tyrant, a massive elite creature that's far more powerful than anything else around. These Tyrants are mini-bosses scattered throughout the world, and they offer some of the game's most challenging and rewarding fights. After the mission, you meet Commander Jack Van Ham, who asks you to choose one of 8 divisions. Each one offers unique gameplay bonuses. For example, I chose the Pathfinder division, which focuses on expanding Frontier Nav, a strategic system where you plant data probes across Mira. These probes generate income, resource, and allows for fast travel, adding a light sim management layer to the exploration. Visually, Xenoblade X holds up surprisingly well for a game that originated on the Wii U. The Definitive Edition features cleaned up textures, sharper UI, improved lighting, and a smoother frame rate. Comparing it to the original version, it's clear how much polish has gone into this remaster. The interface is less cluttered, and you have the option to toggle HUD elements for a cleaner experience. The soundtrack, composed by Hiroyuki Sawano, is bold and unforgettable. Known for his work on Attack on Titans, Kill la Kill, Seven Deadly Sins, and most recently Solo Leveling, Sawano brings his signature style, a mix of orchestral, EDM, and even vocal-heavy tracks, to give Xenoblade X a completely distinct sound. It's energetic, dramatic, and depending on your taste, either amazing or a bit much, but it never feels boring. Now I'll admit I didn't play the original on the Wii U, but after watching footage and doing my research, it's clear that this Definitive Edition is a major upgrade. It feels more modern, more accessible, and much easier to dive into in 2025. That said, this game is still massive. The main story alone clocks in at around 68 hours, and after about 5 hours of playtime so far, I've already impressed. To scale, the system, the vibe, it's all clicking, but I can tell I've only scratched the surface. With the original launching back in 2015 and this re-release landing in 2025, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition stands the test of time. I'm giving it a solid 8 out of 10. It's a fantastic game, huge, ambitious, and visually impressive, but it's definitely not the most casual-friendly RPG out there. There were moments where I had to learn things the hard way, like upgrading my gear and weapons. It's not always explained clearly, and that trial and error can be a bit much if you're looking to chill. But if you're up for a challenge, if you want to explore the world that feels truly alien and take down monsters in a customizable mech, so should you press play? Absolutely. Indiana Jones is back, but not in theaters this time, but in his first new video game in over a decade. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is developed by Machine Games, the team behind Wolfenstein, The New Order, and brings an original story set in 1937, right between Raiders and the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade. It's a bold movie receiving such an iconic character, especially in a medium where nostalgia alone isn't enough. So, does it feel like indie, or is it just another adventure with a whip and a fedora? Let's dive in. The game is played mostly in first person with occasional shifts to third person for ladder climbing, swinging, and cinematic moments, and surprisingly, the first person perspective works. It puts you directly in Indy's shoes, solving puzzles, sneaking through Nazi camps, and yes, cracking the iconic whip. And the whip is more than just fan service. It's your go-to tool for traversal, puzzle solving, and combat. You'll use it to swing across gaps, pull levers, disarm enemies, and even stun them mid-fight. It's a versatile mechanic that feels right at home in both exploration and action moments. Combat overall is simple but not purposeful. You're not mowing down hordes of enemies. This isn't Wolfenstein. Instead, you've got a stamina system that forces you to pace your attacks, block strategically, and occasionally grab whatever nearby to improvise. Indy's not a soldier, he's a professor who keeps getting caught up in dangerous situations, and the gameplay reflects that. It's scrappy, reactive, and satisfying. Where the game really shines, though, is in its puzzles. Thanks hidden doors, ancient gears, cryptic riddles. The kind of stuff Indy's always getting tangled up in. They're not overly complex, but they strike a great balance. Enough challenge to make you feel clever, but not enough to slow down the pacing. And beyond the main story, there are optional puzzles tucked in side areas that reward exploration with upgrades and lore. The story opens up with a familiar face, the opening scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes, the actual tutorial is a playable version of Indy's most iconic escape. You solve your first puzzle, learn the mechanics, and then the boulder wins. Turns out it was all a dream, but a perfect way to set the tone. From there, the real plot kicks in. After waking up in his office, Indy stumbles into a break-in, a strange man speaking Latin, and a Vatican calling card. That's all I'll say to avoid spoilers, but trust me, it gets bigger from there. The game sends you across multiple countries, chasing clues, solving ancient mysteries, and trying to stay one step ahead of the enemy. Now let's talk about performance. I played on PC using Xbox Game Pass. Day 1 has some issues, frame drops, a bit of stuttering, but after a few patches, the game runs much more smoothly, load times are fast, transitions are clean, and the UI is minimal, letting you stay more immersed in the action. Visually, the Great Circle delivers the cinematic feel. Lighting is dramatic, environments are rich with detail, and the temples and tombs feel like they're pulled straight from the silver screen. It's not quite pushing the limits graphically, but it nails the vibe, and that's what matters most in a game like this. Troy Baker steps into the role of Indy, and I'll admit, I was skeptical, but he does a great job. He doesn't try to mimic Harrison Ford, instead, he brings his own take while capturing the wit, charm, and world-weariness that defines the character. The supporting cast holds up well, and the banter between characters feel authentic. The soundtrack? Total highlight. It doesn't reuse John Williams' music directly, but it absolutely captures the feel. Sweeping strings, tense drum beats, adventurous energy. It's cinematic without being overbearing, and it pairs perfectly with the pacing of the game. So, final thoughts. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle doesn't try to invent the action-adventure genre. It doesn't need to. What it does do is deliver a tight, focused, well-paced Indiana Jones story. It balances puzzle, action, and exploration with confidence and respects the source material. If you're looking for an open world sandbox or deep RPG mechanics, this isn't that. But if you feel like you're living in an Indiana Jones movie, that's exactly what you've been waiting for. I'm giving Indiana Jones and the Great Circle a solid 9 out of 10. It's a perfect mix between action, charm, puzzles, and nostalgia, and when it pulls it off, with style. So, should you press play? Absolutely. After globetrotting with Indy and cracking whips through ancient tombs, I think it's time we take things down a notch. Welcome to the chill mode, the part of the show where we just slow it all the way down and focus on games that are cozy, calming, and perfect when you just want to vibe out. Let's start with a gem called unpacking. On paper, it's a simple idea. You're unpacking boxes and placing items around a room. But somehow that simplicity turns into something really emotional. You go through different stages of someone's life just by unpacking their stuff. Childhood bedroom, college dorm, first apartment. There's no dialogue, no narration, but every object tells part of the story. It's thoughtful, super satisfying, and honestly, kind of therapeutic. I didn't expect to feel attached to a toaster, but here we are. You can find unpacking on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Next up is a classic, Stardew Valley. If you haven't played it by now, this might be the time to jump in. You inherit a rundown farm and start from scratch, planting crops, raising animals, fishing, mining, making friends with the townspeople, and maybe even starting a little romance. The loop is relaxing but rewarding. You can play it out at your own pace, no pressure, no fail states, just you, your farm, and a town full of people who gradually warm up to you. It's cozy, it's wholesome, and it's dangerously easy to lose a weekend into it. Stardew Valley is available just about everywhere. You can play it on Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and even mobile. And finally, you got Spiritfarer. This one's special. You play as Stella, a kind of fairy master for the dead. Your job is to help spirits come to terms with their lives and guide them to the afterlife. It sounds heavy, but it's actually incredibly warm and comforting. You build your boat, cook meals, farm, and spend time with your spirit passengers, each of whom have their own personality and story. The art is stunning, the music is gentle, and the writing, it hits you right in the heart. It's one of those games that help you slow down and really feel something. Spiritfarer is available on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. All three of these games are perfect when you need to unplug from the chaos, whether that is your games or just in life. No boss fights, no stress, just vibes. Well, that's your chill mode for this week. Got a go-to comfort game you think you should check out? Drop it in a Discord and let us know what helps you chill between the chaos. When Shawn Layden left Sony in 2019, it surprised a lot of PlayStation fans. He had been with the company for 32 years, serving as president and SCEA and chairman of Worldwide Studios, and he stepped down just before the launch of the PS5. At the time, there were rumors of falling out with current CEO Jim Ryan, but Layden later told Bloomberg he left due to burnout. Now, we're learning there was more to it. In a recent interview with Safe State Plus, Layden revealed that Sony push towards live service games and subscriptions didn't align with his vision. He said he preferred crafting narrative-driven games like God of War, Spider-Man, and Uncharted, not building out monetized content loops. Since then, Sony's live service pivot has had mixed results. The revamped PlayStation Plus is performing well, but games like Concord, one of the big multiplayer bets, flopped hard, peaking at only 2,388 players before being delisted in under 2 weeks. Despite all that, Layden says he left on good terms and holds no ill will, but his message is clear. He believes in great single-player experiences, not just recurring revenue. For a lot of older gamers, video game news came from magazines such as Nintendo Power, PlayStation Magazine, and of course, Game Informer. Back in August 2024, it looked like the era of gaming magazine has officially ended. Game Informer shut down after 33 years, marking the end of the longest-running video game publication in history. Fans were devastated, and the team signed off with a heartfelt message thanking readers for being part of their epic quest. But now they're back. On March 25th, 2025, Editor-in-Chief Matt Miller announced that Game Informer has officially returned under new ownership, and the entire team is back as well. The rights to the magazine were secured by Gunzilla Games, but Game Informer now operates as an independent outlet under a new entity called Game Informer Inc. Miller says their new mission remains the same: celebrate gaming past, present, and future, and do it ethically without outside pressure. To mark the return, they dropped the Game of the Year award for 2024 and even released a fun list ranking the best resurrections in gaming. Fitting, right? Bottom line, Game Informer is alive and well, and for print-loving gamers, that's one comeback worth celebrating. Ubisoft is making major waves this week, and it's not because of a new game. The company announced it's forming a new subsidiary valued at roughly $4.3 billion and is bringing Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six along with it. Chinese tech giant Tencent is investing about $1.26 billion for a 25% stake in the new entity, which will control the IP, the backlog, and all future titles from those franchises. Ubisoft says the new structure will give the company more agility and room to grow. CEO Yves Guillemot called it a foundational step in changing Ubisoft's operating model, adding that the deal opens a new chapter in the company's history. Ubisoft plans to use these funds to pay down debt and support its broader lineup of franchises. The valuation of the new unit actually exceeds Ubisoft's current market cap, which analysts say is a sign that the company has been severely undervalued. Under a few tough years, the delays and disappointing releases, this move could be a major reset. Meanwhile, Assassin's Creed Shadows launched March 20th to a strong start, scoring at 82 on Metacritic. No sale numbers yet, but early buzz says it's a solid return to form. With fresh funding, a new structure, and one of the biggest franchises back in the spotlight, Ubisoft might finally be turning the page. Let's take a look at what's dropping soon. Here are some upcoming releases worth keeping an eye on. Koira. You wake far from the heart of the forest. In the distance, a puppy barks echoes through the trees. It needs help. Koira is a wholesome tale of friendship where you and your new puppy explore a musical forest, solve ancient puzzles, and try to find your way home, while danger lurks in the shadows. Releases for PlayStation 5 and PC on April 1st. Nif Nif. A mysterious evil goo is taking over the forest. In Nif Nif, you play as an adorable piglet on a mission to clean up the mess and save your friends in this cozy, accessible deck builder roguelike with a heartwarming story. Releases for Nintendo Switch and PC on April 1st. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. 5 years after the journey across a post-pandemic America, Ellie and Joel are living in peace until a violent event shatters it. Part 2 Remastered brings visual upgrades, new content, deeper emotional impact as Ellie seeks justice, no matter the cost. Coming out on PC on April 3rd. The Renovator Origins. In this paranormal mystery, you play as the son of the late museum restorer. What starts as a search for family memorabilia quickly turns eerie as you pulled into a haunting blend of art, memory, and the supernatural. Coming out for Nintendo Switch on April 4th. South of Midnight, a third-person action-adventure set in modern southern folktale. Explore myth, comfort strange creatures, and uncover your family's hidden past using ancient weaving magic to overcome what stands in your way. Releases for Xbox Series X and S and PC on April 8th. Tiny Garden. You grow a pocket-sized garden inside a magical toy passed down through generations. Nurture plants, trade them for furniture, and decorate your space in this cozy mix of farming, puzzles, and strategy with zero pressure, timers, or scores. Releases for Nintendo Switch and PC on April 8th. Not every great game needs a launch at $70. Sometimes the best finds are a few years old, on sale, or buried in the digital discount racks. Welcome to the Bargain Bin, your weekly treasure hunt for deals, hidden gems, and games that might have slipped through the cracks. Whether you're on a budget or just love a good value, these picks prove you don't need to break the bank. Over on PC, Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Go behind enemy lines as an elite special ops soldier stranded on a deadly island. Ghost Recon Breakpoint mixes tactical stealth with open world survival, solo or in co-op. Customize your gear, adapt your strategy, and take down a rogue military force. Now on sale on the Epic Game Store at $5.99. Jump King. Brutal high-stakes platforming at its finest. In Jump King, every leap counts as you climb towards the legendary smoking hot babe. And every missed jump can send you plummeting all the way down. Frustrating, hilarious, and totally addicting. Now on sale over on Steam at 66% off at $4.41. Over on the Xbox, Fable 2 returns to Albion in this beloved action RPG where your choice shapes the world and your hero. Be a noble champion or a total menace, raise a family, buy property, and kick chickens. It's a classic Fable with heart, humor, and charm that still holds up. Get it now on Xbox for $9.99. It is backwards compatible for Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has come a long way. Explore a massive, ever-expanding universe where you can build bases, fight pirates, tame alien wildlife, and travel between galaxies, solo or with friends. It's one of the biggest gaming glow-ups and it's packed with content, just in time for the new update. Get it now on Xbox for just $23.99 on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows ends on April 8th. Also on sale over on PlayStation 4 and 5, and even on Switch until April 10th. Over on the PlayStation, Risk of Rain 2. Blast your way off a chaotic alien planet in this fast-paced roguelike shooter. Risk of Rain 2 lets you play solo or with friends as you stack wild loot, fight off waves of monsters, and turn into the overpowered beasts you used to fear. On sale for $6.24 for PlayStation 4 and 5 until April 10th. V Rising. Rise from the grave as a weakened vampire and rebuild your power. V Rising blends survival, base building, and action RPG combat as you hunt for blood, craft your castle, and dominate a dark gothic world. Solo or with a clan, now on sale on PlayStation 5 for $27.99, ends on April 9th. Over on Nintendo Switch, Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is a 4v1 horror game where one killer hunts down 4 survivors. Play as an iconic slasher or outwit your enemies in intense heart-pounding matches. With tons of content and crossovers, it's a horror fan's multiplayer dream. Now on sale at $11.99 until April 7th. Danganronpa series. In the Danganronpa series, high school students are trapped in a deadly game of murder and betrayal, all controlled by a sadistic robot named Monokuma. Investigate crimes, argue in high-stake trials, and uncover the truth in this cult classic visual novel series. With price ranging between $4.49 and $8.99, you can get all 4 titles on the Switch at $23.96. This deal ends on April 11th. That's gonna do it for this week's episode of Press Play. We went deep into Mirror, cracked a whip with indie, chilled out on a few comfort games, and stacked up some solid deals in the bargain bin. New episodes drop every week, so keep that backlog in check. Don't forget to check out the latest bargains and upcoming releases. Thanks for tuning in, and until next week, keep playing, keep exploring, and as always, press play. And hey, if you're looking for a place to talk games, share your favorite finds, or just hang out with people who love the stuff as much as you do, come join us on the Press Play Discord. Whether you want to trade tips, chat about the latest episode, or find someone to co-op with, we'd love to have you there.